If you're thinking about flipping properties in Chicago, in the Chicago area, you're going to want to watch this video. This video is about fix and flip properties research in Chicago. It's a recent video. This is being recorded on December 15th, 2021. Um, I do these about every year to show the research that's happening in my area that I service, which is the Chicago and Northwest suburban area. 44 properties here that I'm going to go through. This is going to be a pretty long video. Um, we're going to go over what exactly they purchased these properties for, what they sold for, look at photos on what work was done on these properties, and I'm going to show you a calculator that I use in my business to show what offer you can make on a property, and we're going to see if they fall in line with the research that goes with these properties that I research here as well. Also, I'll go over what it is that I do for my clients as far as finding them properties to rehab, finding them contractors to do their rehab if they don't have contractors already, and of course, employing me to sell their property, how I figure out that after repair value, the most important part of any project. So again, if you're thinking about flipping properties in Chicago, you're going to want to watch this video. It's going to have a lot of information for you. So here is a spreadsheet on the 44 properties that I'm going to go over in the video. You can click the QR code somewhere on this video if you want to save my contact info and text me if you want a copy of this actual spreadsheet. But the spreadsheet is going to show the actual property when it was bought and then when it was sold again, like this one here in Barrington. They purchased for 305 and sold for 572, and it'll show the difference, of course, what they the margin on that. So they had 267 grand to work with. Some of these properties you can see, I think these are new construction. They purchased at 545 and sold for 1.6 million. Had plenty of room in the $1 million to build a property and have their profit calculated into that. Here's another one at $1 million as well. This one was located at 2447 Millfab. But we're going to go over all these in the video as well. So this again is going to be a long video. You could watch it multiple times, of course. Just go ahead and like the video and maybe save it for later as well. I don't know how long it's going to go, but I'm assuming it's going to be a pretty long video. So I'm going to go into the properties here in no particular order except for alphabetically by street. We're going to start out with the property in Barrington. Again, this one they purchased in, they closed on February 5th, 2021. Get a look at what the property looked like before. They purchased it for $305,000. It was a foreclosure property, an REO. They have other financing. I'm assuming that's most likely going to be a hard money lender. And this is what it looked like when it was done. They sold at $572,000. So keeping the same layout, and this is quickly, I looked over the research that I've done. What I've noticed is the trend now is keeping the existing footprint. Not much to do with, like a few years ago, we had to do second stories and actually double up a property to get it to a higher rehab value. But because construction costs are so high right now, I'm seeing a lot more of these, right? I'm seeing a lot more of these working within the existing layout, not necessarily a complete gut, but kitchens, bathrooms, trim, windows, roof. I don't want to say those are inexpensive, but they're a lot quicker to do than a gut job, right? So quicker, you could take doing them quicker, you could make less because you're done faster, right? So your percentage, your ROI is actually going to be your annual ROI is actually going to be probably better than doing a complete gut job. And we're seeing a lot of this lately. The not a complete basement rehab either. Just doing the painting the joists up top. It's a very nice industrial look. Buyers love it, and of course, it's a lot less expensive to rehab a basement that way. Throughout the video, I'm also going to throw in the calculations on my calculator, so I'm not going to talk about it. I'm just going to go ahead and edit that in later, and you'll see how I use the calculator for each of these projects as I'm talking in the video. And then, of course, you'll see that QR code if you want to scan the QR code to get my contact info. Next property is in Chicago, 2830 West Berry Avenue. They purchased it for $315,000 on February 10th, 2021. Here's what it looked like. Again, $315,000. They sold it in October 29 of 2021, just about a month and a half ago, for $675,000. Here's another trend as well. You can see they're painting the brick. Real nice look. Sold it for $675,000. Take a look at how they finished the inside. This obviously was a complete gut job, but 8-month-long project from sale to sale, not too bad. For a difference of about $350,000. And again, my calculator bases off of the after rehab value, a percentage of what your budget should be. You shouldn't spend more than that. Going into the properties is where you get kind of experience whether that budget will hold true or not. It's a percentage of the ARV is what you want to put into the property maximum. And the calculator should show that and show what your max offer should be. Again, you can see back there that same thing with that basement. The ceilings here were just painted. This is obviously the utility room, but back there you can see the finished part. Okay, next property is at 3553 West Beach Avenue, Chicago 60651. They purchased that $190,000. It was a foreclosure property, purchased for cash. March 26, 2020. Take a look at what it looked like before the rehab. Here it is after the rehab. They've sold for $440, so $190 to $440. And this property was sold November 13th, 2020. Here's another one on Beach, 3454, next block over. They also purchased that one at $190,000. There were no photos on what it looked like before. And here we go, rehabbed. Again, they painted the brick. This one just on the face, sold for $503,000. December 22nd, 2020. Much nicer job on this one, and that's probably why it did sell for quite a bit more as well. You can see the quality of the rehab was there, and that's why it sold for more, of course. Second floor with hardwood floors, that's always a bonus. See if we can see the basement in this one. So they did finish the basement entirely on this one with carpet. Again, that's at 3454 Beach. Next property is in Portage Park, 4907 West Berthoud Avenue. Purchased at $210,000 on August 11th, 2020. This is what it looked like. They paid full price for it in cash. August 20th, they sold it March 2021 for 500 grand. Complete gut rehab, obviously. Next property is again in Portage Park. Actually, this might be Dunning. 6034 West Byron Street. Purchased for 240 grand, 10 grand below the asking price for cash. They closed on July 30th, 2020. See what it looked like. Looks like somebody started some demo. So July 30th, 2020, sold in March 11th, 2021. So what is that, about 8-9 months later at 500 grand. So they purchased for 240. They were asking 499 and got 500 in 19 days. Take a look at the work on the inside. Nothing special, no can lights, just regular dome ceiling lights, sanded the floors. Redid. So these guys obviously work within the existing layout. Did the bathrooms. Carpet on the second floor. And then, of course, finish the basement. Next property is at 4906 North Central Park Avenue. 285,000. They went over asking price on this one. Paid cash for it. No photos on the existing or what it used to look like. They purchased it August 26, 2020, and then sold it June 2nd, 2021 for $687,000 in 4 days. Take a look at the work they did. That's nice, doing the restoring that fireplace in the bungalow. Again, sold for $687,000. Next property, 2440 North Central Park Avenue. It's in Logan Square. This American Foursquare purchased for $331,000 for cash. They went just over asking price by about 6 grand. See what it looked like. Looked like somebody was actually trying to do some work on this place. Sold January 9th, 2020. Next property, 5328 West Cullum Avenue. This is in Portage Park. $265,000 acquisition price. They went over the list price. Used other, which is probably going to be hard money loan. Purchased February 10th, 2021. It's a regular Cape Cod in Portage Park. Sold it October 29th, 2021. Looks like they might have done a dormer here on the upper right. $575,000 in 17 days. Complete gut job. And open up that second floor to make it a little bit bigger than it was, of course, beforehand. Next property, 3710 West Dickens Avenue. Purchased for $290,000 for cash. This one they got below list price. List price was started at $350, went down to $320. They got them 30 grand below that for cash on July 14th, 2020. Looks like they bought it from a rehabber that started working on it. 3710 Dickens. Then again, these guys did it and sold for $605,000. It's about $310 $310,000 worth of margin here. Nice finished product. Sold in 11 days. December 18th, 2020. Here's a property in Avondale, 3010 West Fletcher Street, 60618. Purchased for $290,000 for cash on November 4th, 2019. That's what it looked like. Pretty decent move-in property. Here it is, rehab, sold for $598,500 in 11 days on June 18th, 2020. Complete gut job, but doesn't look like they did any dormers on the property. There's a basement. Next is another property in Portage Park, 5038 West Grace Street, purchased for $270 grand, about 55 grand less than list price for cash on June 26, 2019. Must have been a wide angle lens on the first one, made it look kind of ugly. This looks a little bit better, taller and skinnier. $590,000. Sold March 3rd, 2020. Here's another property in Portage Park, 4833 Hutchinson Street, 60641. They were asking $175. They got it for $182.5 for cash on July 12th, 2020. And then January 22nd, 2021, sold it for $522,000 in 3 weeks. Complete gut job. Here's a property at 2149 North Kilbourne, purchased for $162,500 in cash, just under list price, August 6, 2020. This is what it looked like. See, it was a complete gut job. Obviously, this one had to be a cash purchase. Rehabbed it and sold it February 12th, 2021 for $400 and just about $60,000 in 5 days. Again, if you're interested in the calculator that I've been using here on this video, go ahead and scan the QR code. It'll take you to my business card. Take you to my business card here. And if you could just click this button to save my contact info to your phone, you'll get my contact info. Text me, let me know that you watched the video. You gave it a like, hopefully, and I'll send you over that calculator. There's a property at 4218 North Lawndale Avenue, 60618 neighborhood. Purchased for $205,000 in cash on August 6, 2020. No photos on what it used to look like. Here it is rehabbed, sold for $560,000 in 9 days on December 30th, 2020. Again, this is the research that I do for my rehab clients, my investor clients, to find you properties. Basically, um, start working backwards from the ARV. I'll find you properties, um, establish the after repair value, and then figure out what you need to actually purchase the property for and bring that to you in hopes to have you rehab it, fix it, flip it for profit, and then use me again to sell it. So I put in a lot of the upfront work. Of course, I make money when you acquire the property and when you sell it, but I'm helping you either if you don't have a contractor, I'm helping you find a contractor. I'm helping you figure out the rehab budget. If you're interested in fixing and flipping properties for profit in the Chicago area, text me and let me know. We'll set up a time and talk over the phone, and I'll let you know what I can do to help you out in finding properties like this, finding contractors to help you flip the properties if you don't have any, figuring out a budget and what you need to do to get it to the after repair value to make a profit on the sale. I do all this for you to make money, of course, when you buy, and then use me to sell the property. I don't charge anything for the in-between service. So go ahead and scan that QR code, save my contact info, and give me a ring. We'll go on to the next property here. Here's one in Portage Park, 4140 North LeClaire Avenue. Purchased for $265,000. Used a renovation loan. Purchased it August 20th, 2020. Here's what it looked like. Another one of the American Foursquares. This one was in pretty rough shape. No garage in the back there, you can see. And they sold this property on May 21st, 2021 for $685,000. Again, from $290,000 to $685,000. Just about $390,000, $395,000 margin there. Take a look at the rehab. Again, they work within the existing footprint, and that's again why these Foursquares are so good. Their layout is actually pretty good to begin with when you buy one of the bigger ones like this one. Again, this property sold in 9 days, and it also sold for about 15 grand above its list price because they are popular homes in the Portage Park neighborhood. They did have to build that garage in the back. Here's a property in Jefferson Park, 5520 North Luna Avenue, 60630 area code. Purchased for $215,000 with a renovation loan on August 28th, 2020. There's no photos of the previous, but you can see they did a second story addition on it. Here's what it looked like before. Put a second story up on top. Sold it for $795,000 in 36 days on June 4th, 2021. Again, the rehab cost is going to be higher on a project like this because you're putting a second story up, but you can see plenty of margin there to account for that, to allow for that. Next property is at 4015 North Mead Avenue in Chicago's Portage Park. Purchase price of 200 grand. Take a look at what it looked like. They purchased this on October 26, 2020. Another property with no garage. August 26, 2020. Sold it June 28th, 2021 for $677,000. Take a look at that rehab. They did give a credit of 10 grand, seller credit, but it sold in 24 days. Here's one at 2447 Moffat Street in Logan Square. Purchase price of 310 grand for cash. See, they got this one well below list price. These guys were aiming for the stars on it, but purchased 2019, February 15th. This is one of the new construction properties. They tore down the previous house and actually built new construction, but they sold for 1.3 million. Again, from 300 grand. So a margin of $1 million. Let's take a look at what it looks like. Looks like those are renderings only, but sold December 20th, 2019. Here's a property in Edison Park, 5821 North Napoleon Avenue. Purchased for 250 grand for cash. March 4th, 2020. A Queen Anne bungalow. Got a dormer up top here. Sold it December 9th, 2020 for 580 grand in 44 days. Here's another property in Edison Park, 5673 New Hampshire. Purchase price of $289. Looks like a hard money lender. October 8th, 2019. So it looks like. Just exterior photos on that one. Sold May 20th, 2020 for 680 grand in 4 days. Nice looking property. Here's a property in Dunning, 3806 North Nordica Avenue. Purchased for $190,000 for cash. September 14th, 2020. Nice brick bungalow. See, they did some dormers here. Sold it for $570. Took 50 days to sell it. Closed on October 20th, 2021. Just about a couple months ago. Take a look at that one. Here's another property in Dunning, 3842 North Octavia, 60634. 218 grand purchase price for cash. November 23rd, 2020. Here's what it looked like. A frame bungalow. Rehabbed and sold it for $475,000 in 4 days. They closed on it July 30th, 2021. Take a look at the photos here. Next property, 3508 Pierce Avenue, 60651 zip code. Purchase price of $185 for cash on January 8th, 2021. Here's what it looked like. They rehabbed it and sold it for $550,000 in one day. Closed September 9th, 2021. Again, this is at 3508 Pierce. This is one of the better rehabs considering the amount of work they did and the profit made. There's one at 2854 North Richmond Street in Avondale. $305,000 purchase price. Sold again at $587, May 20th, 2020. Take a look at the photos. Next one is a vacant lot that was purchased at 1646 North Spalding Avenue for $153,000. We paid cash for it, $3,000 over asking price. Again, 1646 Spalding in Logan Square. Purchased it on July 30th, 2020. And then April 23rd, 2021, they sold this new construction house for $865,000. Took them 8 days to sell it. And this is on a 25-foot lot. Again, this is new construction though. $700,000 margin. Plenty of room in there to build a brand new house and for profit. Here's a property at 4120 West End Avenue at 60624 zip code. Purchase price for this foreclosure was $176,000 in cash. June 25th, 2020. Was being sold occupied though. So rehabbed and sold it for $470,000. Next property is in Avondale, 3317 North Whipple Street, 60618. Purchase price of $3,015, just over their asking price for cash on March 20th, 2020. Here's what it looked like. Not a fan of this facade here. I'm sure they painted it. Let's see. Purchased in March 20th, 2020. Sold it 5 months later for $620,000. They changed that facade, of course. Probably tore out that stone. Nice rehab on this one. Changing that property to this. Here's a Chicago 2 flat at 2522 West Wilson Avenue, 60625 zip code. They purchased this one for $460,000. Beautiful Chicago 2 flat. Purchased on August 28th, 2020. They converted this one to a single family home and sold it for $1,375,000 on May 26, 2021. This looks like renderings, but you can see how they opened up from the first to the second floor. Not your typical rehab. So this one did cost them a lot to do, but again, almost $1 million difference there. Here's a foreclosure property in Deerfield at 649 Lombardi Lane. It was purchased at $369,000. They went almost 50 grand above the asking price for it. Paid cash on March 15th, 2021. Let's take a look at what it looked like. Again, this one's in Deerfield. They sold it July 15th, 2021 for $607,000. Took them 8 days to sell it. Here's another one in Deerfield, 1725 Mountain Drive, purchased at 400 grand with a conventional loan on October 14th, 2020. Nice low-level ranch. Sold it April 12th, 2021 for $726,000. Here's another one in Deerfield, 1256 Oxford Road. Purchased for $245,000 in cash. December 19th, 2019. Sold it for $515,000 July 21st, 2020. Here's a property in Evanston, 1411 Leonard Place. Foreclosure they purchased for $241,000 on February 24th, 2020. A stucco bungalow. Again, this one's in Evanston. Rehabbed it and sold it for $689,900 on April 15th, 2021. Evanston's a pain in the ass to work at, but nice margin on this one. Here's one in Hawthorne Woods, 43 Darlington Drive, purchased for $295,000 for cash. About 15 grand over asking price. They bought this on September 29th, 2020. Take a look at what it looked like. Sold it July 7th, 2021 for $580 grand to an FHA buyer. Next property is at 320 Cedar Avenue in Highland Park. Purchased for $881,000 in cash on March 1st, 2021. Nice McMansion, just very outdated. They sold it in September 9th, 2021 for $1.45 million. Take a look at that rehab. Not bad from 800, from 900, let's say 900 to 1.5, 600 grand difference. In 6 months' time. Next property is in Lake Forest, 182 Linden Avenue. Purchased for 312 grand for cash. They went 50 grand over asking price. Closed March 16th, 2020. Here's what it looked like. Looks like they bought it from either Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac. They do that mold remediation. Sold it September 20th, 2020 for 750 grand in 22 days. That's what the rehab looked like. Here's another one in Lake Forest, 227 Surrey Lane. Purchased for 412 grand. They got it way below the asking price, about 70 grand or so, almost 80 grand there. Actually, 80 something grand there. They paid cash for it. Take a look at what it looked like. Very outdated. One of the reasons you shouldn't overprice your property. They rehabbed it and sold it for $697,000. Take a look at that rehab. Took them 40 days to sell it. Here's another one in Lake Forest, 645 North Waukegan Road. It was a foreclosure, purchased at $422,000. October 14th, 2020. Again, this is in Lake Forest. Rehabbed it and sold it in July 22nd, 2021 for $860,000. Took them 4 days to sell it. They got a cash buyer to buy it. Nice looking rehab, staged it very nicely. Again, that sold July 22nd, 2021. Almost at the end here. If you made it this far, you're going to want to scan my QR code to get my business card. I appreciate you watching this video. Please like it. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. This one's in Skokie, 7900 Keystone Avenue. Purchased for $215,000 cash. Another one, 60 grand below its list price. Here's what it looked like. Rehabbed and sold it September 13th, 2021 for $519,500. And staging does help sell these properties. It's in the budget. Here's another one in Skokie, 9424 Tripp Avenue. It was a foreclosure. They purchased at $375,000 about for cash. January 20th, 2021. Nice tri-level property looks like. Rehabbed it, sold it for 760 grand. Closed November 1st, 2021. Nice pool on that one as well. That's this year's research for fixing and flipping properties in Chicago land area. Again, if you're interested in flipping properties, thank you for watching this video. Please like it. Please subscribe to my channel. Scan the QR code to get my contact info. Save my contact info. I'd love to work with you and help you find a rehab to fix and flip just like one of these. Again, I'm Goran with HomeSmart Connect. I've been a licensed realtor since 2002. Background in construction. So go ahead and scan that QR code, get my contact info. I'd love to talk with you. Thanks again for watching the video. One thing you probably noticed on the actual calculator here is, the checkbox here, checkbox if built before 1955. So the reasoning behind this is because anything that's built before 1955 is going to be harder to rehab and most likely going to have to be a gut rehab property. So the cost is going to be higher. So there's a percentage, because our estimator here works off a percentage of the ARV. So the percentage is going to be a little bit higher to rehab a property that's 1955 or older. For anything that's newer than that, you've got drywall, you've got conduit in most of the properties, and sometimes you could even save, the waste for the plumbing, the waste line. So that's going to save you at least 6 to 7%. I think this factors in for about 5.5% difference in the rehab cost. So that's just an explanation of why there's a checkbox here. Again, these are estimated rehab costs. Every property is going to be different, but it's something to like a baseline to go off of to see if a property quickly works for you. Walking the property and seeing what actually can be salvaged and what actually would require a lot more money to rehab is what takes skill and experience to figure out in the field when you're looking at a property. Again, if I'd really appreciate if you would like the video and share it, and scan the QR code and save my contact info. Look forward to talking to you soon if you're interested in fixing and flipping a property, or if you're looking to sell a property to one of my rehabbers as well. We do offer cash on as-is properties as well, cash as-is purchase, no inspection if you have something to sell. So go ahead and scan that QR code and talk to you soon. Thanks.